What's up, Lions faithful? You're tuned in to Lions News Fan Report. Smash that like button and subscribe if you believe the roar of Ford Field starts with Amon-Ra St. Brown lighting it up once again. Have you felt that knot in your stomach? Since we heard he hasn't hit the practice field this offseason? Could this be the kind of setback that silences the loudest crowd in the league? Or is it simply the calm before the storm of our next epic season? Imagine A-Ra, our fearless playmaker, sidelined just weeks after surgery. Could a cleanup procedure on his knee turn into a storyline worthy of Hollywood? Is Dan Campbell prepared to roll out an offense that's missing its heart? Or will Brad Holmes uncover the secret to speeding up a recovery that promises to rewrite narratives? We've watched defenses flock to Chris Olave and Chase Claypool, daring our line to keep pace. But what if that same line finds a savior in the form of a fully healthy St. Brown? Last season, he hauled in 115 passes for 1,263 yards and 12 touchdowns, his third Pro Bowl nod and second straight All-Pro selection a testament to his warrior spirit. What happens when you challenge that spirit to emerge stronger than ever? Picture the scene. Late July's training camp, the sun beating down as St. Brown steps onto the turf for the first time since December 30th's clash in Santa Clara, the echoes of Levi's Stadium still ringing in his mind. He said it was just a cleanup, that he's on track to be back before camp, and yet the question remains. Will he look the same player we celebrated week after week? Or will this journey into recovery forge an even more relentless competitor? Think of the potential for this narrative to unite us. A hero's quest across summer drills, a triumph over adversity that sets the tone for every opponent who dares to stand in his way. Now blend in the whispers from teammates in the locker room, that hushed buzz when he limped off against the 49ers and had to undergo arthroscopic surgery. Could those very whispers become chants of anticipation when he finally takes the field? Again, envision some insiders telling us he's already tearing up individual drills on the side turf, pushing pain thresholds and proving that the only thing sharper than his route running is his mindset. Remember how he dropped jaws in Week 8 with that toe-tapping sideline grab against the Ravens, followed by a game-winning touchdown that felt like destiny itself? Could the fire that ignited that miraculous catch be stoked anew during a redemption arc this summer? As we dive deeper, consider the domino effect of his absence. Jared Goff, armed with pinpoint accuracy, now lacking his favorite target who commands double teams and opens lanes for Josh Reynolds and Jameson Williams. How will our QB rediscover the chemistry that fueled 4,600 passing yards and propelled Detroit into the playoffs? What if defensive coordinators around the league breathe easier knowing A-Ra is down, only to have him roar back with vengeance, shattering coverage schemes and reminding everyone why he's the engine of our aerial attack? Let's not forget the emotional weight of his personal journey. The fourth-round draft pick from USC who defied expectations, elevating himself into the realm of elite receivers through grit, humility, and an insatiable work ethic. Could this latest hurdle refine him into a legend rather than hinder his ascent? Imagine the community rallies, charity events paused and then reignited as he emerges from rehab, a symbol of hope for Detroit's faithful, inspiring kids who wear his jersey across Michigan. And what about the strategic chess match in our front office? If St. Brown's return is delayed, do Holmes and Campbell pivot to target a veteran free agent, or swing a midseason trade to fill the void at wideout? Or do they bank on St. Brown's durability record, only 2 missed games before this surgery, to trust he'll be our MVP when the real games begin? Could this all be part of a grand design? Manage the timeline, limit the workload in preseason, let him heal completely, and unleash a version of A-Ra so dominant that cornerbacks quake at the mere thought of press coverage? Picture that moment in Week 3 when the lights shine brightest in Arlington against the Cowboys. What if St. Brown's first reception back is a jaw-dropping catch that flips the script on America's team, making headlines and cementing his comeback story in NFL lore? as you ponder these possibilities, keep in mind how rival fans will react. Proud. Packers supporters smirking at his absence, only to watch in stunned silence when he reclaims his throne atop the receiving ranks. Will those doubters morph into believers overnight, chanting his name as he racks up yard after yard? And by late October, could we be talking about a mid-season MVP push, all because A-Ra refused to let a minor procedure define his legacy? The stage is set. The question remains unanswered, and every second until camp is filled with tantalizing what-ifs. So stay locked in, because the next chapter of this saga is coming, and if history is any guide, you won't want to miss a single play of his comeback story. If you believe the Lions are finally ready to roar, hit that like button and let's finish what we started. Picture this. It's mid-season, the Motor City faithful packed into Ford Field, the electricity so thick you could slice it with a butter knife, and there he is, Amon-Ra St. Brown, back in full flight, striding down the sideline like Barry Sanders. In his prime, his eyes locked on the end zone as defenders trail in his wake. Could you feel the ground tremble when Jared Goff launches a laser to A-Ra's outstretched hands for a third down conversion that flips the field? Imagine the collective gasp when he jukes star cornerbacks with the same blend of footwork and ferocity that earned him Pro Bowl honors in 3 straight seasons. Remember how he racked up over 200 yards in back-to-back years, cementing himself as our most reliable playmaker? Now add to that the narrative of overcoming a late summer setback, a cleanup procedure that was supposed to limit his snap count, but instead forged a fiercer competitor, a warrior tempered in the fires of rehab. As Brad Holmes watches from the sidelines, clipboard in hand, could he be glimpsing a new identity for this franchise? One built not just on a stout defense, but on an aerial assault led by a receiver who refuses to be defined by pain? Think. Back to the dark days before Dan Campbell's arrival, when wins were rare and hope felt like a distant memory. Contrast that with today's reality, where every drive is punctuated by the possibility of a highlight reel grab and every huddle feels like a declaration of war against the rest of the division. What if St. Brown's triumphant return sparks an identity shift so profound that opposing coaches travel to Detroit simply to study the chemistry between Goff and his star target? Could this duo become the NFL's hottest tandem, eclipsing the likes of Mahomes and Hill, Allen and Beasley, or Hurts and Smith? Picture fans donning Roar Lions gear in droves, chanting "Ah-Ra, Ah-Ra," as if it were a victory hymn, a unifying cry that transcends wins and losses. And consider the ripple effect. Opponents game planning around him, stacking the box to slow our run game, only to have Josh Reynolds and Jameson Williams feast on single coverage. Imagine the strategic chess match that unfolds when defensive coordinators must choose between doubling St. Brown or risking a one-on-one matchup they know he'll win 9 times out of 10. Could Monday Night Lights in Minneapolis become the stage for his ultimate comeback moment? A toe-tapping sideline catch that ties the game in the final minute, sending the silver and black to their knees. Envision the headlines. St. Brown saves the day. Detroit's redemption rider. A-Ra writes his own legend. And beyond the field, think about the impact on our city. Local businesses rallying behind a team that transcends football, community events buzzing with the energy of a fan base reinvigorated by hope. Would this be the year the Lions finally shatter their playoff drought and silence the naysayers once and for all? Can you see the smile on young fans' faces as they mimic his celebratory fist pump, believing that anything is possible when heart meets talent? As December's chill descends on Detroit and the playoff picture comes into focus, one question will echo through every corner bar, every living room, every proud veteran who's waited decades for this moment. Could Amon-Ra, St. Brown's heroics be the spark that ignites a new era of Lions football? The stage is set, the players are ready, and the roar of the faithful grows louder with each passing week. Get ready to witness history, because if this comeback tale teaches, us anything, it's that in Detroit we don't just endure adversity, we conquer it.